Okay.
Talk it up, talk it up, talk it up. What's happening, fam? It's been a minute, baby.
Has been a minute, Padaki. Here we are. We're back. About to
Yeah.
do a Dynasty rookie draft. I'm sure we're going to talk about all the crazy free agency. I'm sure that's going to be in the chat. And
No doubt about it. I'm
there's
down to
probably
talk
things
about
that are
it.
going to happen as we're drafting as well. The Jaguars are just doing everything possible to bury Laviska Shenault. You know, that's my takeaway so far.
Who's Lavishka?
Who is Laviska?
Who the hell is that guy?
Who the hell is that guy? What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us. What's up, Jasmine, Voice of Reason, John, Seth, Drusif, Juxter. Dave is here. Shout out to everyone who is joining us over on Twitch and here on YouTube. Also want to give a massive shout out to everyone who has signed up to Patreon in the last, pretty much in March in general. We've had so many signups. You guys are awesome. Really appreciate the support. I want to give a shout out to Jordan Rudolph, Ashley, Gremlin, Casey, Tim Potter, Joshua, Josh Silva, Lithium, Macy, Allen, Daniel Macy, Meatball, Don, Ryan, Aaron. Appreciate everybody who has signed up. And if you have signed up, make sure to check your messages over on Patreon so we can set you up and get you all sorted. And also, if Joey Levy, my guy, if you're watching this now on live or if you're watching it back later, check your DMs because we got an invite for you. We sent an invite for you. You're all set up, ready to go in this Dynasty League. Once we get you in there, we're going to send some information over there to our follower Dynasty League. So
yeah, absolutely.
Check out Discord, and we're going to get that league set up and popping. But what are we doing today, Badaki, and how can people join us?
Yeah, Dynasty rookie mock draft. As always, come through. Super simple, super easy. Join our Discord. It should be in the link in the chat. If not, in the description below, solo.to. Go there. We'll hook you up. If you haven't been in our mock drafts before and been trying to get into it, message Fantasyland on Discord. We'll try to get you in. We'll try to give everyone a chance. It's been a while, fam. If I miss you guys on Friday, I had to do with some wedding stuff. But now I'm here. I'm back.
Yep.
I was just telling Zach, I was like, man, like, I'm actually excited for this. I'm excited to like talk to everyone and see what's happening. You know, it's been a minute, you know.
It has been a minute. Why don't you tell people what you've been doing, on Friday, like what you're preparing for and everything?
It's just a bunch of it's like little details, like we had a bunch of calls with our vendors. We really finalized our dinner menu. We were trying to get like little things done, like we're printing out menus, and there's just so much stuff. And we met with our celebrant once again. So all that stuff is happening, like it's all coming together right now. It's less than 40 days now, which is crazy. So
sheesh.
So it's all love, man. But yeah, free agency is going crazy. By the way, before I move on, because I'm kind of going everywhere. Our third league already for the year has already started, which is we like to do I don't know what's it called. We call them Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta. Echo is now open.
It's the NATO alphabet.
NATO alphabet, exactly. We already have, I think, 3 or 4 people in that league. So if you guys want to sign up, like Zach said, patreon.com/fantasylandfam. Thank you so much, guys. I mean, it's been crazy. It's been really, really crazy. I saw Juxta said, I like your hair. Yeah, I did twist to my hair, so it's a little bit different.
We've already got some people signing up to that Echo League. Shout out to Gremlin, Ashley, Jordan. Shout out to all the people who are already signed up over there for that next league. It's going to fill up quick, as it always does. And if you are at all interested, no pressure, but we will put the information here. And please don't hesitate to ever reach out if you have questions about the follower leagues. Bang, there they are. Let's get on to what we were here to talk about. I wanted to quickly talk about two things in particular, okay? Number one, just before we start, I want to talk about Christian Kirk's contract. Okay. What is Allen Robinson going to get then? That's my question. What is Allen Robinson going to get? And some of these other players. I mean, That is a lot of money for Christian Kirk. I don't know. It feels like a little bit of an overpay for me. And then they go out and get Zay Jones as well. I mean, do you really
Christian
improve
Kirk.
your team by continually adding mediocre pieces? You know, I'm not saying that Christian Kirk is a mediocre piece, okay? I'm not saying that. I think he's overpaid. But Zay Jones, what are we doing spending $30 million on Zay Jones?
I think he could be. I mean, yeah, that sounds crazy, but man, I mean, I wouldn't be spending 30 million on a special teams person. I mean, I don't remember the last time that's ever happened. But you know, if you look at this depth chart, I think they're moving on for some of these guys. In reality, who did they have? Let me just pull it up. You know, Jags.
Yeah. They obviously needed
Jags
to build a room.
depth chart because, like, you know, Jamal Agnew was a big name last year. Laviska Shenault, obviously. DJ Chark got hurt. Marvin Jones was there. Laquan Treadwell. These guys aren't like foundational pieces. Besides, I think Marvin Jones could have been one. Same thing with Chark could have been one if they're going to continue.
Well. Isn't Marvin a free agent?
Yeah, so like now you sign Christian Kirk, who is clearly better than Laviska, who's gonna hopefully play the slot receiver and be that guy and will beat out Laviska. Then you have Evan Ingram, who they signed to a 1-year deal, who is
So
a wide receiver.
This is what I said to you when we were recording content today. Okay, so they had Laviska; he was playing the slot, so they signed a slot receiver in Christian Kirk. Okay, they had a tight end in Dan Arnold who proved to be productive, and they went out and decided to sign a tight end. They need a big body wide receiver. Does that come to like any big body wide receiver come to mind that's a free agent right now that they could afford? How about DJ Chark? I mean, I just feel like they're not filling the positions that they need. However, I like the Brandon Sheriff signing. I think that was really smart, and I like the defensive signings that they made. So it's interesting, man. It's interesting. You're going to keep seeing a bunch of crazy deals. So many free agents still haven't signed. I'm surprised that James Conner got the 3-year deal. We got Mitch Trubisky probably being the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's crazy. It's crazy.
There's a lot of things happening.
If you have not dropped a like, it would mean so much to us if you could hit that like button. YouTube actually, there's like a new animation I found out when you click like, it like turns a cool color. But go ahead and drop a like for us if you don't mind. That would mean a lot. We're trying to hit 75 likes on the stream. With your help, we can probably get there. We will see. And if we do, it looks like right now I have to bet $10 on Washington winning the NFC East. So I might make some money as well, you know. Let's go, Carson. Let's go. No.
Let's go, Carson.
Okay, so we are here to do a Dynasty rookie-only draft. It is a mock. Again, one last time before we send the link, if you want to be a part of it, join our Discord. The link is pinned in the chat, and it's also in the description. So go ahead and join that Discord, and then we will send the link out there in the Dynasty text channel. Joseph said you thought Wentz to the Commanders hurt. Can only imagine how Steelers fan feel about Trubisky. To be honest, I actually thought about that as well, man. And as I've reflected, I just feel like I'm glad that we didn't sign Trubisky. I would rather have Carson Wentz than Trubisky. Do you know what I mean? It feels like Wentz is a better long-term option than Trubisky. I could be wrong. And I said this in one of our friends' chats. I don't love Mitch for the fantasy weapons in Pittsburgh. Like, this doesn't feel good for Deontay. This doesn't feel good for Pat. This doesn't feel good for Claypool. Maybe Najee stays the same, but do you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't feel like,
I think
because he doesn't really have the arm. Like, Mitch doesn't have that massive arm that you want.
I feel like it's been a while from when Mitch played. It feels like, even though I know he played a couple games this past year, I think because I think it was the last game of the season. But I'm really interested. I might go back and watch, his highlights when he was with the Bears. He threw 8
attempts with the Bills.
And try to understand, where he's at now because it's been a while. It's been a while, bro.
That's why I find the conversation a little bit funny when people are like, no, like he's improved. He's improved so much. How? He threw 8 passes this year. Like, I understand that he was under Josh Allen. He could have matured, but doesn't mean that he improved as a passer. It doesn't mean he improved as a quarterback. He threw 8
Yeah.
attempts. You know what I mean? So,
And,
um,
Seth says that, like, I think the offense stays the same. If he doesn't have the arm like Big Ben, then yeah, someone like Deontay is safe. Maybe someone
maybe,
like
but
Claypool is
doesn't
more in a riskier spot, but we
it
don't know. We
it
just don't know
doesn't
how
mean
he
that
improved.
Mitch can get the ball to Deontay the way that Big Ben did. Okay, that doesn't mean
100%.
we still there's still a
100%.
lot of questions, and it's going to be fun to see, right? Um, okay, so 28 likes. Really, really appreciate you guys. If you haven't dropped a like, go ahead and do it. Show us some love. We're trying to hit 75 likes. Means a ton. Badaki, are you going to go ahead and send the link out over there on
Yeah.
Discord?
Yeah, I'll send it here right now. Let's not go. Let's not take any more time
Yeah,
here.
the Steelers, we talked about that. Could the Steelers still draft a quarterback in the first round? Maybe. It feels like this makes me feel, for me personally, I feel like they won't draft a quarterback in the first round, as Badaki just sends the link out. I feel like, maybe second or third if one of those guys becomes available, as we're starting to fill up here. So it's interesting.
We're all
It's
filled
interesting.
here.
The fact that so many quarterback needy teams decided to address it in free agency, whether through trades or through, free agency itself, hints at what the NFL thinks of this class. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's how I'm looking at it. At least it's like, oh, I mean,
I think
no one's wanting to bank on a quarterback here in the draft.
yeah, and I think as we get close into the season, especially with Mitch, preseason is gonna be massive for him. Us understanding how this offense is gonna look.
Yeah.
All this talks moving forward, the chemistry, the work, all these reports coming out. It's going to be very, very interesting. I think he's gonna compete. I said this to Zach. I think he will compete. And now with the money, it feels a little bit hard for him not to be the starting quarterback with that type of money.
No,
But
I disagree. Actually, I thought it would be much more money. The fact that
oh,
he's
okay.
it's only
I
guaranteed.
thought you were saying with this.
No. I texted.
Please.
I said the fact that he's only making 14 million over 2 years. That's backup money. That's not starter money. I mean, it's guaranteed 14 million guaranteed. I think it can go up to 27, but that doesn't feel like starter money, which is confusing to me because the talk around in the entire Twitter sphere and ESPN and all the main channels were saying that he was going to get paid like a starter, like a 3-year $50 million deal is what I thought. Right. So
Right. Okay.
it's interesting, but I still think that they could take a quarterback maybe at the second, maybe Hal falls, maybe one of these, whoever falls maybe they take a chance on him. Maybe it's Ritter, who knows? But we are here to do a dynasty startup draft. So just so everyone's on the same page, this is a SuperFlex, so you can play 2 quarterbacks. It's SuperFlex. It is PPR. It is not tight end premium. And we'll always have to say this just before we start. There will be things that I say that you disagree with. There will be things that Badaki says that you disagree with. We just want to get that out of the way. That will happen. It's 100% going to happen. There will be differences of opinion in the chat.
doubt.
And that's okay. We welcome that here on the channel. I think it's one of the things that I like the most about our channel is how many different opinions there truly are amongst the community. And if we all thought the same way, it would be quite boring anyway. So just a heads up, there will be things that we say you don't agree with. That's okay. A lot of room for disagreement and interpretation and opinions in this rookie mock in particular, this rookie class in particular. There's so much room for you to believe and have conviction on a certain player. So let's go ahead and get this started. 2 minutes on the clock, Badaki. And can you stall while I put a little message here?
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I will pause the clock.
What a day, guys, huh? So much drama. Any other big signings in your guys' mind that are surprising? Like, I think something that's surprising in my head, I thought CJ Uzama would have stayed with the Bengals personally.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty big move. I'm not
That
sure
was interesting.
Sample was going to be the guy. Yeah.
And
Obviously,
that maybe takes away from them getting McBride in the second or third.
yeah, exactly. Who was a big contender. A lot of people saying they wanted McBride to go to the Jets. So it's very, very interesting. I know J.C. Jackson was another big one in the defensive side for the Chargers. 5-year, $82 million.
That was
deal.
crazy. Yeah. Okay.
This
I'm
defense
glad
is
we're
nasty.
talking about one more thing. I want because Chase Edmonds to the Dolphins.
Mm.
What? What are we doing?
What?
What are we doing? Like, I'm trying to understand why this makes any sense. You already had Myles Gaskin, this pass catching third down spell back. What are we doing why are we signing Chase Edmonds?
Look, one thing I said
I
was
don't
that
understand. What
one
are we
thing I
doing?
said was that look, Chase Edmonds is quote unquote an upgrade compared to Miles. He is a pass catching
Is
back.
he though?
He has better vision potentially.
Is he really an
Um,
upgrade? I don't know if
I
he
think
is.
they're gonna try to get Miles for something. This is what I think potentially.
No one's
That
going to
could
trade for
happen.
Myles.
Send Miles away for a third, fourth,
No
whatever
one's
the case.
sending a
A
fourth
fifth,
round pick.
a third,
Right
fourth,
now,
fifth, whatever
the
the case
market
may
for
be.
Saquon Barkley is a third round pick.
Okay,
You're
great.
not
So
getting
then
anything for Myles.
get a fifth for Miles,
Seventh
and
at
then
best. You would get a seventh.
and then draft somebody.
It doesn't make
Draft
sense.
a running back.
It doesn't make sense. Here we are.
Yeah,
Of
and
course,
that was a big
us
landing spot.
dynasty, us fantasy football dynasty players are critiquing GMs like we
Two
know what
big
we're gonna
landing
do.
spots that we wanted.
Yeah,
you know,
Gaskin
our
was a
running
sixth
backs to
round
go.
pick. Yeah, I don't think you get anything more than a 6th or 7th round pick for him if you sent him off. But
Okay, yeah. See, there you go.
anyway, all right, let's go ahead and get this started.
Have you
2 minutes
started?
on the clock,
I thought
and you can
started
make
it.
whatever pick you want. We will pause it at certain times to discuss the picks that have happened. So Cousin David is up first. Who's going to be the 101?
Cousin David. Hey, on the bright side, did we sign 2 offensive linemen, the young football giants?
No one wants to talk about the Giants, man.
See you there, guys. Come on, give us an opportunity.
No one wants to talk about the New York Football Giants. What a day, man. There's going to be a lot more breaking news over the next couple of days. So we'll have to just take it as we get it. I guess it sounds weird, but you know what I'm saying. All right, Malik Willis as the 101. That's a little bit different than what we've seen. I guess we have seen that once before as well. But Malik goes as a 101. I guess it's SuperFlex if you believe that he can reach the ceiling that we all see for him, and you need a quarterback. Yeah, take Malik. I personally think that Brees is the 101. Where do you kind of sit on that though?
Yeah, Brees. I think it's Brees or Willis. Wherever these guys fall, I think it's back to back right now.
Okay.
So I'm okay wherever these guys go, and I'm comfortable, content. So I'm okay with that.
The only thing is there's less and less spots that I feel like it makes sense for Malik to go now in the draft. Like the more that teams address quarterbacks and free agency.
Exactly. The more that
it makes me
he's probably
question
gonna sit
what
back.
his draft capital will be. Do you know what I mean?
It makes me question any draft capital because now I believe someone like Malik Pickens, where these teams, where these teams, we thought that they were going to have opportunity. They're signing quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You know, so like the only other team I can think of on the top of my head that doesn't have a quarterback are the Saints and Panthers, but one of those teams are going to get Deshaun, quote unquote, apparently, and the Seahawks. They have Drew Lock.
So weird, man. It's harder to. It's getting more and more difficult to see quarterbacks going in the first round of the draft. Do you know what I mean? As more and more teams address it in free agency, it's like, will there be quarterbacks in the first round? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. All right, Brees at the 102, and then Burks at the 1-3. Just before you make your pick, I wanted to address some of the questions in the chat. And Voice of Reason said, Trubisky was my quarterback 4. I just traded him, James Conner, and a 23 third for Rashad Bateman in a first. Is it a good deal? That's an amazing deal. Well done.
Yes. Love it.
Seth says, where do you guys like these rookie running backs going now that Arizona and Miami have signed their guys? Arizona's now out, but I still think Miami is very much in play, as well as Atlanta comes to mind. Seattle, I wouldn't rule out Seattle.
The Texans now, even though I don't like that place.
Texans. You have 8 seconds to make a pick here, though.
Yeah, really quick. Garrett Wilson is my guy, my number 1 wide receiver off the board. I think there's no doubt I'm taking him at the 104.
Yeah, I still think there's teams that could address running back in the draft, but as I have said on some of the comments, Kenneth Walker goes at the 1-5. I've replied to some people in some of our comments when I released my top 10 list, and I don't think that there are many starting running backs in this class. to be honest, Brees and Kenneth are the only guys I personally view as starting running backs. And I don't think we're going to see a lot of running backs go before the fourth, fifth round. I just think we're going to see most of this running back class go after the fourth and fifth round, which historically has not been great for dynasty purposes or for them ever becoming a starting running back. I'm not saying that they won't, because this is a very deep class. That's why a lot of people will wait on running backs. But to me, it feels like there are really only two starters, and Brees is the only guaranteed workhorse. I still think Kenneth can be that, but I don't know, man. I just
I see
the running backs this class don't feel like starters to me outside of
I see
Brees and Kenneth.
situations maybe potentially falling to like where maybe Brees is gonna land in a committee start, but get a job and beat out that person. Like for example, I see him going to a crowded backfield like the Bills hypothetically, and then you get rid of, a Singletary and or Moss. I see something like that happening for any running back.
Okay.
They're gonna go into a crowded backfield and have to win a job because I don't see any other team unless there's hypothetically the Giants, like
Yeah,
the Texans,
I
like the
guess
Giants, they don't know where to go with Saquon. Maybe do they take a chance on a Kenneth Walker? I mean,
maybe.
what about I'm trying to think of running
Hey, every
backs.
team that we said would get a running back in last year's draft did not get a running back.
It literally
So
did not.
it really
So
doesn't matter. Like the NFL is going to do whatever they want to do at this point. You know what I mean? But yeah, it makes me think even Brees and Kenneth, as good as they are, they could even fall in the draft. Like, could
I
we
mean,
see them go in the
mhm.
late second, third? I don't know. It's something I've been
Seahawks
thinking
is
about.
another team that need a running back as well. Technically,
Yeah.
obviously they have Rashad Penny and Chris Carson, but we don't know what that looks like for them.
Yeah.
There's just so many question marks moving forward with these running backs
True.
specifically.
It's true. Hey guys,
So,
73 people watching the stream. Thank you so much for joining us, listening to our opinions. And again, there's so much room for interpretation and difference of opinion. Feel free to give your opinion as we go through. We will pause at certain times. If you could show us some love and drop a like, we have a like goal of 75 likes. With your help, we could actually get there because there's 74 people watching. So if everyone
yeah,
dropped a like, we could definitely hit that. That means so much to us. Okay, so
really
London
appreciate it.
goes off the board. I've talked about how I feel like Brees and Kenneth are the only starting running backs in this class. So for me, Spiller, even though he's my fourth running back this year, I don't feel like any other running back should go in the first round of rookie drafts. Okay. I just want to put my opinion out there. I don't think Spiller's a starter, but I know a lot of people see that differently. London off the board. For me, it is absolutely clear who the answer is at the 1.8. It's Jameson Williams. He is my favorite wide receiver in this class. I'm not going to devalue him because of the injury. If we're talking redraft, of course, you devalue Jameson Williams. But in Dynasty, I'm still confident in Jameson Williams going forward. I'm not going to lower his value in what I saw on film because of an ACL that he'll probably only miss one or 2 months, the beginning of this season. So I'm still going to draft him at the 1.8. I think he lands at the end of the first and gets really good capital. And then we see Chris Olave off the board. I'm just going to pause so we can talk about these picks. Chris Olave off the board. And then to me, honestly, after that pick, it does make sense to go quarterbacks. I know some people are probably going to be having questions. Well, isn't this a super flex league? Why are there not more quarterbacks going early? And to me, I said this from the very beginning, but I feel like the tier of wide receivers is so much, it's just a different tier than these quarterbacks this year. Outside of Malik Willis, I do think that the wide receivers should go before Pickett and Corral and Howell and whoever your choice is there, whatever, pick your poison. But at this point, I think it makes sense. I think we're just seeing it confirmed by free agency that not many teams are going to go into the draft betting on these guys in the first round. Do you know what I mean? So how many quarterbacks will we see in the first round? I'm starting to doubt that we'll see more than one.
Yeah, it also makes me question if like maybe we should get someone like should now Traylon Burks go be at the 101 back again, because the chances of him landing on a team where he can get true work is higher now that compared to Brees,
Right.
compared
To
to
me,
Brees and what's
I still
happening.
will go Brees, but draft capital and landing spot's going to be huge for,
Yeah,
for
no
these
doubt
running
about
backs
it.
in particular.
It's going to be very interesting moving forward.
Draft
Like,
is obviously going to change a lot, right? But
mhm.
let's say, okay, so Kenny Pickett goes at the 110, excuse me, and then Matt Corral. Do you have any opinion on those last three picks, including Olave?
No, I think that makes sense. Me, I still would have taken. Well, you took Jameson Williams. I probably still would have taken Chris Olave over him, but I understand why you took him in pure talent. the whole process of that is behind the injury with Jameson Williams. But other than that, I think everything feels normal here moving forward.
Yeah, for me, Williams is he's my wide receiver 1 in the class. So to me, this
Yeah.
feels like a massive steal. Again, I'll just say it. I don't think anyone has a combination of route running, speed. I don't think anyone can provide a team what he can. They can provide other things that are very valuable in different ways. But same with London, he can provide something that these other guys can't. For me, Williams he's just a difference maker. He's an X factor in this class. I love this film. Olave, I love as well. He's my wide receiver 3, so I'm totally happy with that value there. And then again, I think it's okay to take a shot on quarterbacks in the SuperFlex here at this point in the draft if that's what you're looking for. Casey says when Brees lands in KC, people are going to lose their minds. That would be crazy. Jasmine says, rumor has it Williams ran a 4.19. That would be crazy if that's true, but unfortunately, there's no way to verify that. But I think he would be close to the John Ross. I don't know that he would beat it, but I think he would be close. I mean that kind of speed you can't teach. George Pickens at the 112. We are massive George Pickens fans. If you're sitting at the 111, 112, the 201, somewhere around there, and you're able to grab Pickens, you should feel very, very good about that. He has a chance to be the best wide receiver in this class. Then Watson and Bell go off the board. Any thoughts on those 2 picks?
I guess our biggest faller has been David Bell. What can he do? I don't
surprised he went that high after the combine.
Yeah, after that, the biggest question is that, what's going to happen. We know his production and what he can do, but our team's going to see that. He was the biggest faller amongst in the NFL combine. And for teams, I feel like, so it's going to be very interesting to see where he goes and what's going to happen with him. There goes Jahan Dotson, who I was hoping to get.
I was going to just talk about Jahan real quick. To me, Jahan Dotson is in a tier above guys like Watson and Bell. Jahan Dotson is my wide receiver 7. So to me, I would be taking Dotson over Watson and Bell. I understand Watson is athletically a freak and he tested really well, but again, we can't forget all the things that are also cons of Christian Watson. It's easy to see, the size, the speed, the athleticism, but there's a lot of things he needs to work on. Let's be realistic there. And I feel like Dotson's going to land in a better spot around the end of the first round. I think he'll be more relevant to start his career. And then David Bell, I think he does need to drop slightly. Not crazy. I mean, he's my wide receiver 9, so I guess you can justify taking him there. But for me, I guess I just wanted to point out that in my rankings, Dotson is a tier above those 2 guys that went off the board.
I completely agree. I think Dotson could potentially go in the first, just depending on his draft capital. So I really like where Dave got him, and which makes my decision, I think, a little bit easier. I'm going to go running back, my RB2, and that's Jerome Ford.
Okay.
Maybe not. Like with everything happening now, like it makes you question, like, should I go there now?
Right.
Like, should I get a running back that I believe in like that much?
Yeah.
Right here. Shit. It's either that or
while
Sam Howell.
You're thinking that over, Katie had a question. He said, right after my startup draft, I traded Waddle and Cam Akers for Jamar Chase. I think to be honest, I see that as a relatively even trade, but I would prefer the Jamar Chase side. I'm just not an Akers guy. I just don't believe in Cam Akers long term, so I would take the Jamar Chase side for sure.
Okay, you know what? I'm actually going to go Trey McBride here.
Okay.
I'm going to see how this feels. Once again, everything that's been happening, there was 2 people I would have taken over Trey McBride, but now with all offseason and the free agency is kind of changing the thought process amongst all these people. Like a Sam Howell I had and a Jerome Ford, with the running backs and all these landing spots where you thought were going to be open now kind of falls off. It feels different now taking Jerome Ford.
There's less and less natural spots to fill for sure.
And the same thing with Sam Howell.
Yeah, so. Vince says if Desmond Ridder goes in the second round of the NFL draft to a team without a guaranteed starter, does he jump up on this board? He definitely does. If that happens, Ridder's probably where Pickett Corral is, in my opinion. I mean, maybe there to where Jahan Dotson is, 110 to 203. I think that's where you see Ridder go off the board if that's the case, if that lines up for him. Sam Howell at the 2.5, again, super flexed. Take a shot if you believe on one of these quarterbacks. Sky Moore, I love me some Sky Moore. And the mock draft community is starting to fall in love with Sky Moore as well. Finally, I'm loving that I'm seeing him in a bunch of these mock drafts. We're seeing him as early as, 30 to the Chiefs, if that's the pick they have. Like, we're seeing him quite early in some of these mock drafts now, not by us, but by other people. So I'm really, really liking that he's getting some respect now. All right, I'm looking on the board. There's a couple players that I really, really like here. One's a wide receiver. There's 2 wide receivers that I love here. But at this point, I do think I'm going to go quarterback because Desmond Ridder is kind of the last quarterback you really want to take a shot on in this class. And I think he probably benefits the most out of any quarterback from the combine. And I think he's going to be higher in most GM's books on their boards than he was pre-combine. So, I think before the combine, we all probably believed that Ridder would have been the last out of the 5. Now I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't know. Like, Ridder could be the first quarterback off the board. It's probably Malik, but
bro, it's so weird, man.
It's interesting how things have changed. So here at the 208 in a SuperFlex league, I feel like that's more than good value risk reward situation there for Desmond Ridder.
Wow.
Okay, I don't mind that. I don't mind going there. There goes Jerome Ford. See, it makes sense. I feel a little bit more comfortable taking Trey McBride and hoping that he lands in a better spot, at least with everything that's happening. Still love Jerome Ford.
Yeah, we do love Jerome Ford here.
100%. 100%.
Draft capital will be huge for him. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Jasmine said some people are still ranking Spiller over Walker. It's not us. Yeah, I don't want to bash on Spiller too much. I'm just not a Spiller guy. We've made that clear. Be careful on Sky Moore. D. Eskridge was hurt, but he didn't do shit this year. He went to the same college, was faster, and had better production. Yeah, we can't always play that game, though, because there's plenty of wide receivers who come out from different colleges, and some players hit, some players don't. So, the program has something to do with it, but I do feel like they are slightly different players. I think Sky Moore is probably a more consistent option in the NFL based off of his profile, but I understand where you're coming from for sure. So let's talk about these last picks that went off the board, Badaki. Anything that stands out to you?
Yeah, Wanda Robinson, Rashad White, and Damian Pierce. For me, Rashad White, he keeps falling and falling. I wonder why.
I think that's good value at that point, though. Like, that's a good...
Yeah, before everything that's happened, before the combine, he was going in the first. After the combine, he went late first. And now with all this happening, he's going late second now. So it's very, very interesting to see where he's going to go. Another guy that's questionable, like where should he be used? Where can he be used? But it makes sense. Good value.
What's interesting to me, though, is like Rashad White had a good combine. I feel like he checked a lot of boxes at the combine. So that is interesting. Damian Pierce, a guy that you really like, and then Wandale Robinson, a guy that I like as far as a risk reward here at the end of the second. I think he can offer something really interesting to an NFL team. So
definitely makes sense. So I like the way it's going. I think I would have taken this 2 people on the board that I think I would have taken over Damian Pierce, but I still like Damian Pierce as a running back, period. So it's very interesting.
A couple comments on Eskridge here. Steven says Seattle is good at wasting rookie years if a player gets hurt early. That's true. And it is fair what Casey says. Eskridge pretty much had a concussion most of his rookie year. Scuva says Eskridge was a 24-year-old rookie who came out as a senior and has a worse NFL profile. Moore is a true third-year declare, checks all the boxes analytically. Yeah, I think there's reasons to be worried about where he played, but I still have a lot of hope for Sky Moore, for sure.
Yeah.
But I like the combos around it. Alec Pierce and then John Mechie. I think this is where John Mechie should go. I don't think he should be a second-round pick. But, of course, if he gets drafted in the third round of the NFL draft, we have to reconsider that. Or the second round, like somewhere around there. Alec Pierce, I love that pick of Alec Pierce there at the 3-1. He had a very, very impressive combine. I think he moved up a lot of people's boards personally.
There goes Zamir White.
And this is another spot where I feel comfortable taking the shot on him. While he's not in my top 10 of running backs, if you believe in the 5-star talent, if you believe that the knees won't be an issue, then I think you can take a shot on him anywhere in the third round. There's just other players on the board that I would rather bet on at this point. I know the talent's there, but for him to have already blown out 2 ACLs and to come into the league as a running back, position that gets injured more than any other position, it does worry me. But again, at this point in the third, talent profile and everything, he checks a lot of boxes.
Yeah, and that makes my decision easier here. I'm gonna go James Cook, a good pass catching back. I like James a lot. I hope he gets a great opportunity now. And I think he could go to a team where he can definitely be that third down guy. Now with the landscape of the NFL, the way everything is kind of going, I don't see that
This
happening
is
for
what's
him
so hard
anymore.
every year, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
Every year, this is what's so difficult. We fall in love with these prospects, but we sometimes we fail to realize that there's not many starting opportunities out there in the league. Do you know what I mean? I think guys like Zamir, James, and Spiller, and Ford, and White, Pierce, some of these guys, they're probably not going to be a starter. You know, think about how much we loved Chuba Hubbard last year. And he,
Mm-hmm.
you know, he's clearly a backup running back, so it's hard, man. I mean, you fall in love with these prospects, but sometimes we forget there's actually not many starting opportunities for running backs in the NFL. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not all that common that they come in day one and start. It's more the outlier than the rule. Brian Robinson at the 3.5. You guys know I like Brian Robinson. I think the NFL likes him. Then Tyler Algier at the 3.6. I'm not a big Algier fan, to be honest. I again, like, at this point in the draft, take your shot. But I don't know. It's just, I think it's much easier to do what he did versus the Pac-12 than any other conference, any other major conference. But he's got the build for a running back. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. There goes Jalen Watermeyer. Another tight end. It could be very interesting to see where he goes now. Still a couple people on the board here that I like, hopefully.
For me, I think this is the time where I'm going to take a risk on a player that's probably fallen the most in everyone's board since the combine, a player that I still like. He definitely could move down my board if he doesn't get the draft capital that he deserves, and maybe that he lost and he needs to own that he's the reason he lost it if he knew how bad the 40 was going to be. That's Kyren Williams. I'm going to take Kyren. I think he has just as much of a shot as anyone in the third round to be fantasy relevant. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So, and also I'll say this, the 40 time was really bad. The combine was awful, but it doesn't take away everything that's happened the past 2 seasons for him, where he consistently showed that he was able to find the hole, that he was able to, with his speed, beat defenses over there at Notre Dame. Multiple seasons over 1,000 yards, 2 seasons over 8 yards per carry. What was it? 43 receptions this year. So at this point, I feel like at the 3.8, this becomes a pretty good value on Kyren, and I'd be happy to take a risk on him there. It is a risk for sure.
Yeah, definitely a risk. Larry said tight end premium drafts. Where do you see McBride going? In a tight end premium, I can see him going in the first, in my opinion. I think late first potentially, and then maybe 107 down, just depending on what everyone else team looks like and how your draft goes. You know your league more than we do. But I'm in a tight end premium, and I need a tight end. If McBride does land in a good opportunity, then I would take the chance on taking him late first potentially, just depending on how everything falls. But late first, if not early second, 201, 202. Just all depends.
For sure. So Tolbert goes off the board. Then we see Calvin Austin and Shakira. And then Carson Strong at the 312. Interesting. I mean, all these guys have parts of their game that really intrigue me. I think Shakira is probably the most intriguing of those 3 that went off the board, just because I think he has a clear path to success in the NFL with what how he can operate out of the slot. And then Carson Strong at the end of the 3rd, again, SuperFlex league. Maybe he does fall to a favorable situation.
Exactly.
Maybe he does. Maybe the Colts sign Marcus Mariota, and then Carson Strong is drafted in the 3rd round to Indy. Maybe that's something that does happen. So,
yeah,
it's interesting.
Steve goes, I don't know why Shakira's fallen so much. He had a pretty good combine. I feel like a couple weeks ago he's going early 3rd. And I thought he still is going early 3rd. I think maybe it's just this draft. This past, I think the last mock draft. I do think
he typically goes a little bit earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have taken him at the 3-4, but I wanted to get a running back and solidify that area really fast just to get an opportunity. I would take him in the late second as well. I would take him over John Mechie. I would take him over a Rashad White, a Damian Pierce, personally. I have him over Wan'Dale Robinson. So there's a lot of different opportunities and things you can do and take. There goes your guy over or for Shakir. And I'll just get my other guy, Willis Jones Jr., 25-year-old rookie. Another guy, I think a clear path to success if he does get an opportunity. If he does get the opportunity, it could be a clear pass that says. If not, then
Again, you have to
just
keep in
wasted a
mind here in the
round
fourth
pick.
round, you're taking a shot on guys who might not ever even
No doubt
they
about
might
it.
be practice squad guys. Like, so
Yeah.
you just take a shot on a guy that you believe in at this point.
Veilous.
This is
Blessed.
where if there's a player that I love that no one else is really into, I'll take a shot on him just because I want to be right. Ely at the 4-2, Beatty at the 4-3. I was hoping Beatty would fall to me. I love me some Tyler Beatty. Again, I'll say it. I keep saying it every stream, but this year he had 5 games where he rushed over 200 yards. And that's versus the SEC. This isn't the Pac-12. This isn't, Mountain West. That's versus SEC defenses. Last player to do that, Jonathan Taylor. I'm not saying he's Jonathan Taylor, but it's impressive. And then Dolchich out of, I believe, UCLA, if I'm not mistaken. He had a pretty good combine.
UCLA.
Then Sincere McCormick off the board at the 4-6. Again, if there's a guy you believe in, take a shot on him. I might not have taken, McCormick there, but again, like if you believe in a guy, take a shot.
Tell him, Zach, who else did it? Who else did that?
Steven knows.
Tell him.
Price is off the board. So for me, it's between 2 players, and I'll just say it because I know that probably one of these players is going to be drafted, so I'm going to draft the other one. It's between Zaquandre White and Pierre Strong. And for me, I'm very intrigued by Zaquandre White. He doesn't have the production. He doesn't have the stats to show that he can be a starter in the NFL or a valuable piece. But I think that's more because of his story and because of what he had to go through to be a starting running back at the college level. But I think he can do some really special things, especially the lateral quickness. So I'm going to go ahead and draft Zaquandre White here at the 4.8. I mean, that's very, very intriguing to me. Again, I do think, there goes Pierre Strong. He was very, very impressive at the combine. So it makes sense that he gets, 4th round capital here.
Download those videos, by the way, Zach. I think
I'm downloading them.
Okay, cool.
Dave was asking, could Beatty have gone in the 3rd? I think if Beatty goes in like the 5th, 6th round of the draft, I know that sounds late, but to me that would be early for him. I wouldn't expect him to go that early. So if he goes in like the 5th, 6th round, I think we could see Beatty slip into the 3rd round of these rookie drafts. Dubs goes off the board, and then Jelani Woods from my alma mater. No, I didn't go to the University of Virginia. There's no way I was smart enough to go there.
This guy.
Yeah, I mean, he tested like a freak. Really, really excited to see what he can do in the NFL. And then who is going to be Mr. Irrelevant? Pick 412.
I was hoping some more stuff was gonna happen while we were on live, but it's just quiet. They all went to sleep, didn't they?
Jeremy Ruckert off the board. Yeah. So
makes sense.
We're gonna quickly look through. Are there any players that didn't get drafted that maybe we should talk about?
Let's see.
Seems like Kyle Phillips never gets drafted anymore. I don't think he did anything to hurt his capital though at the combine.
Yeah.
Tyquan
Kyle
Thornton?
Phillips. Tyquan Thornton. I think Jalen Tolbert didn't get drafted either.
He got drafted at 3-9.
He did? Okay. I think that's about it. I think in the running backs, I see
Kennedy
Brooks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hassan Haskins.
Mm-hmm.
Did Zonovan Knight get drafted?
No, I don't think he did.
Okay.
Neither did Keontae Ingram out of USC, Kevin Harris, South Carolina. And again, I think Kennedy Brooks should be drafted, but those other running backs, if you don't believe in them, don't take them. Haskins is someone I'm quite low on. So I think outside of that, pretty much everyone who should have been drafted was drafted. And again, with tight ends, to me, this tight end class outside of McBride feels like fourth rounders, 4th, 5th, 6th rounders, and it's hard to see them being really relevant in Dynasty. So I think everyone made really good picks. I think you can justify the picks that everyone made. John says, I have the 2.5 and 2.7. Gonna try to package. How far do you think I could get up in the 1st round? To be honest with you, John, it's gonna depend on the person you're asking. If I had any 1st round pick, I don't think I would Move down
Move
to the
down.
2.5 and the 2.7. I would
No,
rather have
wouldn't.
a first round pick because I know that I could get like there's just such a tier gap for me from what I can get from the 2.5 to any of these first round picks. You
Yeah.
know, like London Williams, Olave, Pickens, Jahan Dotson, these guys, it feels like a big tier gap between what I could get from the 2.5 and 2.7. So I think they're, you know, shoot for the moon. You know, try and see what you can get, but it's of my belief that I don't know that you will get into the first round, but you can try. It just takes one person to hit accept, you know. So
If I were you, I would try to maybe move that 2.5 maybe to the 2.1, 2.2, maybe move up a couple spots because I think you can still get value at the very beginning
yeah,
of the second round. But you know that 2.5 it kind of switches. You know, you can get. I mean, if you look at the screen
Sky
here,
Moore
Sky
is great
Moore.
value there. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
you can get Sky Moore or one of these quarterbacks. But after that, I mean, getting David Bell still at the 2.2, I think is decent. Jahan Dotson, which I think he'll be in the first.
I
Christian
would
Watson,
say shoot for the
early
moon
second.
though. Definitely shoot for the moon. Whoever
Oh, no
has
doubt
like
about
the
it.
1.8 to the 1.12, package it and just send it. See what happens for any of those 4 picks. But just maybe lower expectations because I don't know if it will happen. It might. What time is
Yeah.
it here? It is almost 1 p.m. We are 9 minutes away from 1 p.m. here in Sydney, Australia. Steven said, how many wide receivers do you think go in the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft this year? When I look at needs, there's a bunch of talented wide receivers that are going to be wide receiver 3s in the league. I think we'll probably, I don't know if this is crazy to say, but I almost think there'll be more wide receivers in the second round than the first. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I think the first 10 wide receivers that went off the board here in this draft will go in the first or second round.
Yeah.
Potentially.
I think we could see
from Traylon to Sky Moore. That's who I believe can go in the first and second round. First or second round. Does that make sense?
yeah.
In the wide receiver group specifically, not everyone
the
else.
issue, I guess, is like I just feel like there's so many wide receivers who are on that edge of second round contention, right? Like guys like Justin Ross, Wan'Dale Robinson, Shakir, Mechie, Alec Pierce. So all these guys, I kind of feel like, yeah, you can make some team if they fell in love with him, they could draft him in the second. But yeah, I think we'll probably see around 12 in the first 2, which is actually a lot when you think about it.
This would be very interesting.
Yeah.
What else? Yeah, drop a like, guys. Thank you so much for coming through. 55 people watching, almost 60 likes.
Almost 60 likes. You guys are awesome.
Kevin, who do you think grabs A-Rob? Honestly, I don't even know now, to be honest. It feels like nobody gonna grab him.
It's weird because I really wanted Jacksonville to grab him. It made a lot of sense, right? I mean, what have you needed? A reliable wide receiver who can catch the ball. What did you get? I mean, you got Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, all guys who can't catch the ball consistently. No offense.
The team
that
I liked, and we made a video on our other channel. We do have a redraft channel. And we made a video on him, and I said I liked him going to Miami. Being the bigger wide receiver, Jalen Waddle in the slot. You know, I think they believe in Tua. Why not try to make a big splash move with the big wide receiver? But you know, they signed Cedric Wilson, who I think is 6'3" as well. Maybe not as talented as Allen Robinson, definitely a lot younger. So it's interesting. Maybe they're trying to go with the extreme younger route. They don't want to invest in someone like an A-Rob. Maybe A-Rob has, I don't know. I mean, I feel like he should have been one of the first guys to be signed.
Yeah, it's interesting that he and Juju are still there. And
maybe these guys aren't, you know, like that, you know, for these teams. Maybe these teams don't want to spend that much money just based on because their name value.
I mean,
really, I mean,
no, I
feel like A-Rob is production, but I feel like Juju's name value.
Production. Juju's a productive wide receiver. He's proven that. He's just disliked because of the TikTok thing. But we'll see.
And I think that's a big reason. But yeah, we'll see. We don't know. I mean, another team that can sign him, I think, is the Patriots. They need another receiver
could
still.
make sense for one of those guys.
Raiders
could make sense for one of those guys.
No one wants to go to the Texans. The Colts can do with another wide receiver. Yeah.
There's still a lot of good free agents out there as well, by the way. And I'm kind of surprised that we haven't seen Lenny Fournette already. Like, I expected a tweet today, Lenny Fournette coming back, 2-year deal. Bucks. You know,
Mm.
that's surprising to me at least.
Yeah, man. It's very interesting to see what's gonna happen moving forward. Still
But
so much. This is only day one.
a lot of stuff is about to come up. You know, a lot of players are going to sign with different teams here. Hey guys, we're just going to plug a couple things. We're going to tell you about some things that are happening over here on the channel. Firstly, if you are at all interested in joining a Dynasty or a redraft league with us, we do host them on Patreon. I just put that link there in the chat. And if you have any questions about it, feel free to reach out to us. There are 3 tiers that you can sign up for. One is redraft only, one is dynasty only, and one is best of both worlds, where you can play in both leagues. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions about that. Our current dynasty league, which I think is the second of the off season, is already filling up. So if you want to get into that one, I would say sign up sooner rather than later. And we also have a main channel where we cover redraft, DFS, prop bets, those kind of things. So if you're interested in that, I'll paste that link in the chat as well to our main channel. We are aiming to be monetized soon, which is crazy, guys. I mean, honestly, all 52 people of you watching, you should know that you've contributed to this channel growing. And
Absolutely.
It's crazy because you and I, Badaki, about 2 months ago, we said, let's try and get this channel monetized by the time the NFL season comes around. And now we're almost at 900 subs. It's just,
we're about to
it's crazy.
be monetized before the NFL Combine, which would have sounded crazy to us.
Combine's already over, but
I mean the NFL draft. Excuse me. So
it's crazy. It's crazy, but just a huge thank you to you guys. And we also have some content coming out this week. It's going to be a little bit of a different week. I hope that you guys enjoy the videos, but we're going to be trying to kind of speak on how the free agency has impacted dynasty value. So we're talking about guys like Michael Gallup, because he's rising our rankings. Amari Cooper, because he's either risen or fallen in our rankings. I'm not going to give you any hints there. We got late round dynasty startup sleepers. We got grading your dynasty teams, grading dynasty trades. We might do a buy or sell on Deshaun Watson. It might make more sense to do that video after he goes to a new team.
Exactly.
There's a ton of content coming out. So.
Let us know what else you want us to talk about. You know, like, should we talk about and put in the suggested content ideas? You know, should we talk about the new Jags offense with Christian Kirk and Zay Jones and all these, Evan Ingram, all these other guys, kind of like what we did when Tom Brady came back out of retirement. Like, you know, we talk about more. We just released that video with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Lenny. We talk about all these guys' fantasy and just dynasty value in general. So let us know if you want us to do something like that. Maybe we can continue doing those types of videos. Yeah. But let us know. Put in suggestion idea content, whatever it's called, suggested content ideas, and put it there. Let us know if you want us to do something cool.
Daniel says, when do you guys think we'll do the draft order selection for the second Dynasty League? So we're actually ready to go. We're just waiting on one person to join. We sent him an email. So
another one as well. I think we've been sending a message every single day.
We're just trying to, I think some people forget to turn the Discord notifications on. So we're just giving him a chance to get into this round of the league. And in the next couple of days, if he doesn't sign up, or he's already signed up, but if he doesn't, reply or anything, we might put him into the next round of league so we can get your guys' league going here soon. But yeah, I imagine the draft order selection should be really soon, if not this week, next week for sure.
Yeah, it should. If hopefully we get a response, if it should be this week, maybe we'll do it on Friday or
Thursday.
Technically Thursday, your guys' time. So we'll keep
let
you guys updated.
Know for sure in the chat.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that league to start. I feel like
let me join, brother.
I feel like once everyone is actually in the chat, then that's when the banter picks up. That's when the conversations start having. Draft picks start getting traded.
We already have a lot of people.
Casey says he has some draft picks to trade. What's difficult is I think as I've played Dynasty more and more, I've realized how valuable certain picks are. So, for example, I don't view the 108 in a startup anymore as the 108. I view that as Jamar Chase. And I think to myself, if someone's trying to get the 108 from me, I'm essentially sending away Jamar Chase. So it's not really worth it for me to just move up in a different round. It's interesting. My thought process is very much evolved a little bit in the way I view draft pick trading, because a year ago, I was kind of like, whatever, like I'll take whatever value I can get. Like, if you want to move up, send me whatever you want. And I'm still open to doing that, but now I'm kind of looking at it a little bit differently based off of ADP. It's interesting conversation.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I believe the same thing. If I'm not getting a top 6 pick, I'm hoping to get a quarterback, and if I don't get it, because I have the 111, and I want to move up to get a quarterback, but that means, people are wanting the first and second, and if I just get one quarterback and not have a solidified QB2, then I'd rather just stick with my 111 and see what I can do there. So there's so many different strategies, so many different things you can do. Very, very interesting moving forward. We'll try to get you guys updated as soon as possible with all those things, and our rankings are being updated every single day as well
over on Patreon.
On Patreon. So if you want to unlock our rankings, as all these things are happening, Amari Cooper ranking is already updated, Michael Gallup is already updated, so that's all on Patreon if you want to just double check and see those rankings if you are signed up. If not, like Zach said, you can sign up on patreon.com/fantasylandfam. So yeah, man.
Again, to anyone who is interested in joining a league, I'll just paste that link there. And look, there's 50 of you guys still watching, and we're just plugging our own stuff. So I feel like it's only right for us to take the next 5 minutes and do a Q&A. So whatever questions you have, put them in the chat right now. If no questions come up, we'll probably just peace out. But
it can be fantasy related.
I feel like the fact that there's still 50 of you guys hanging out with us and we're only plugging our stuff, we should at least give you 5 minutes now and answer any questions that you might have. So
Patrick said, "Let me join, brother." Yeah, Patrick. I mean, like, there goes a link there if you want to check it out. And if you have any questions on Patreon and how it works and what that looks like, if you please let us know as well.
Yeah.
High dollar entertainment. Where's Ronald Jones going?
See, that's another name as well. Who could
another question?
Who could ruin landscapes?
Exactly. He can ruin the landscapes, or he can stay and get rid of Lenny and then Tom. But I feel like there's no way Tom Brady's coming back without having Lenny, which is so crazy that if that doesn't happen.
Yeah, it feels like Lenny's back. Ronald, I always thought Miami was an option for him, which is why I'm so confused as to why they went out and signed Chase Edmonds. But now that that's done, I mean, Kansas City could make some sense. With Darrell Williams, reports that Darrell Williams isn't coming back, although I think Melvin might go KC. I think the unfortunate part about Ronald Jones is he's going to probably go somewhere where the situation doesn't look great and he's ruining someone else's value along the way. Do you know what I mean? Like, it almost feels like worst case scenario a little bit, if that makes sense.
I feel like a lot of leagues are going like running back by committee, like fantasy running backs in the near future. It's going to look very different, and we're going to have to be okay with a running back getting, 8 to 9 points. And it's like, you know what? He got 10 touches. That's great. Like,
I mean, you actually have to look at the running back room. This is a great conversation. You actually have to look at the running back room completely different to how we looked at it 5 years ago, because more and more teams are adopting this two-headed running back strategy. And it's going to be super interesting in 5 years what a good running back looks like. Do you know what I mean? Like, in 5 years, is 10 points per game something that we view and we're like, that's coveted. Like, I just want someone who's going to get me 10 points per game. There will always be those like 5 or so players that have that workhorse, but more and more NFL teams are deciding to go the route of multiple running backs in their backfield. Patrick said, what should I be getting for George Kittle in PPR format? To me, Kittle's value right now is not, he's not at a place where I want to sell him. And I still think he's young enough to fit most people's molds.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think you should keep Kittle. I mean, if you're trying to get Kittle, obviously anywhere in the first,
especially with to me, it has to be like a first 4, like within the first 4 picks of a first round.
Yeah, and
whether
with
that's
the high
this year
upside,
or next year.
The high upside of Trey Lance, I think a lot of people are thinking that he's going to be even more fantasy relevant with Trey Lance. So maybe that's a way to sell it if you are trying to get rid of him in general.
Yeah. Jerry said, is Etienne safe with all these pass catches? I think ETN's safe. I mean, there's no one that they signed that worries me personally. I just think this is hopefully going to help the offense as a whole. And by the way, Brandon Sheriff is a massively underrated signing for this offensive line and this run game in general. Washington over there, as much as I trash on them because they're my team, I think PFF rated them as the 6th best offensive line last year, and a lot of that had to do with Brandon Sheriff. So, if anything, I feel really good about ETN after today.
I agree. Steve
Steven.
says, how do you guys become fans of your team? For me, I was born and raised in New York. My family has always been Giants fans. Back and forth, Giants, Jets, Mets, Yankees, any team that is in the New York tri-state area, we support, really. I'm a Nets fan now, even though I don't watch any basketball, but always been, my family loves the Knicks. But for my football team, always been the New York Football Giants, the only team I've been a part of. A massive fan.
For me, I grew up in Virginia, and we would go to games every once in a while, both with the Cavaliers and stuff. But for me, I kind of was like born into Washington fandom, and then when I was 11 years old, we moved to Kansas City, and I was there until I was 18. So I was kind of a part of both of those cities in a way where I was able to see people root for them, and that's kind of what made me fall in love with the Washington
Commanders.
Jesus. And
Wait,
the Chiefs.
What team?
Jordan Rudolph says, pick a side. Hey, Jordan, shout out to you, man. We sent you a message. Oh, yeah, you already set up. You're good to go. Thanks so much for signing up to Patreon, by the way, Jordan. His message is, pick a side, Judy Claypool 107 or the 101 and the 201. Oh, Judy Claypool 107 or the 101 and the 201. I think this massively depends on your team needs, to be honest, Jordan. If Judy is sitting there as your wide receiver 4, it's a little bit different than if he's sitting there and he's your wide receiver 2. And the other reason I say that is because the 101, that's probably going to be Breece Hall. So if your team needs a running back, that side looks a little bit more attractive to me. However, if you're good on running back, I want to see what Judy's going to be. So if I can get Judy, Claypool, and the 107, I think I would. I think it sounds crazy, but I might lean that way.
Yeah, I agree as well. I would definitely keep Judy and Claypool. These are two guys that I've already traded for, especially Claypool, Chase Claypool, because I just hope the expectation is that he's going to get a better quarterback now with the whole Mitchell Trubisky thing, and then whatever the case may be. And the 107, such great value. I mean, if you look at the screen right now, who went at the 107?
Drake London.
Drake London. You had the opportunity to get Drake London, Chris Olave, Jameson Williams, or George Pickens. I think that's fantastic if they land in the right spot. So yeah, I'm keeping the Jerry Jeudy side for sure.
Casey says, should we buy low on Panthers Saints wide receivers in anticipation of Watson? There's not a Saints wide receiver I'm buying low on.
Exactly.
But
I definitely thought about that.
DJ Moore is someone I have thrown some offers out just to see what the waters look like.
I think DJ Moore is somebody you can look into. Maybe a Marquez Callaway that if you take a chance, like for example, there is maybe he might be on waiver wires. Maybe you can throw in a third or Callaway or in a package deal. Maybe do a bigger deal. Like
Let me ask you this: Would you trade away Callaway to get, or would you trade away, let's say, like De'Ami Brown to get Callaway?
Yeah, I'll take the chance on that.
All right, I'll send it through right now.
I mean,
now this is what always happens. I ask you a question, and then you're like,
I'll take the chance. I didn't know you were doing that to me.
I'm literally asking you right now.
I'll take the chance on it. I actually have a trade offer by Jacob.
I'm about to send you a trade. We got put your money where your mouth is here. Let's see if we can get a trade. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm gonna send it through.
De'Ami Brown for Callaway. Let me look at my
see if I can change.
Let me look at my rankings. See, this is what he tried to do to me. He's been trying to get De'Ami Brown away from me the whole time.
All right, guys. He just said he would do this trade. Let's see.
I'll take the chance.
Let's see if
I said I'll take the chance. I didn't say I'll do the trade.
Well, what does that mean? I'll take the chance then. If it doesn't mean that you do the trade, of course.
I'll consider it.
Nah. See, now he's gonna back out. This is what happens. Okay. This is actually what frustrates me so much about doing trades with you. Is like I'll throw hypotheticals out there. I'll be like, man, how would you feel about this sort of trade if we were like to do this? You'd be like, yeah, man, I think I'd do that. And then I send the offer, and you're like, whoa, hold on, no, actually, nah, I'm good. I'm like, what is wrong with you, man? Like, you're the worst to trade with.
I think the thought process is like, You know what? I'll do it. I'm just thinking. I think of the big picture. Okay, Carson Wentz. Okay, this is literally what's going through my head, so people can understand. Okay, so I think of De'Ami Brown. What's this offense looks like? Terry's there. Carson Wentz is
Talks
there.
about
Antonio
drafting a wide
Gibson.
receiver in the first
And
round.
Antonio Gibson, and then Curtis Samuel. He didn't do anything this past year. De'Ami Brown obviously did nothing, even though he was supposed to step up for Curtis Samuel, but that wasn't the case. Now Marquez Callaway. If they do not get Deshaun Watson, great. Who can be Marquez Callaway's quarterback? I mean, is it going to be Jameson Winston? Is it going to be Taysom Hill, or are they going to go for a rookie quarterback? We don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. I'll take the chance on it because I don't think De'Ami is going to have the opportunity.
All right. Well, I definitely didn't expect you to go through with this then. This would be the first time we've ever done a trade live on a stream.
How boring is that though? Callaway and De'Ami. Hey, first trade. Callaway and De'Ami. Wow. You know, I'm accepting it. Like, there's no way I'm starting.
I can't believe we finally did that. I fully expected you to fold. Hey, props.
It's
props
the
for
same.
props.
It's the same opportunity because Callaway's technically wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2, technically, because technically Michael Thomas is still there. Anyway, let's go back to the questions here because we gave.
I just wanted to show people
minutes.
the proof. I just wanted to show people the proof. He's done it. He's officially put his money where his mouth is. It's all done.
We gave people the opportunity.
It's hard to see
Dave
that.
Dixon, why don't you guys do a live Q&A in the next couple of weeks?
I think the only reason we haven't done live Q&As is because typically when we do it, no one shows up. Just being honest with you.
We try to answer as many questions in the chat. I think
as we're doing something live.
In the shorter stream, like with the mock drafts, it's a little bit hard because conversations are happening, but we also want to focus on that. Where in the Dynasty startups, we have a little bit more conversation because people can kind of see what's happening. So yeah, that's why.
I'm still stunned right now that actually happened because I did not
Really?
expect that. I did not expect you to go through with it.
I'm actually okay with it. You know, like if Deshaun Watson goes there, you're gonna be like,
no, I'm not saying I'm stunned as if like, I'm not saying I'm stunned that, because I think it's even value. I think they're both in similar situations. But
Yeah,
typically, if I
believe
send
so as
something
well.
your way, you get skeptical and you're like, nah. You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying I was. That's what. Anytime I send anyone a trade, they're skeptical of me.
It's not skeptical of you. It's just like,
no, I'm not saying you. I'm just saying everyone is like, nah, I don't know. I think it's just because they think that we know what we're doing, but we're just figuring it out as we go.
John, thoughts on Bateman next year? I think we both like Bateman. We both hope that they, Lamar and Bateman can be
I like Bateman.
can be
I
a
think he's
solidified
undervalued
wide
right
receiver
now.
too. No doubt about it.
Lance says one quarterback pick, 104 and 106, need a running back for sure. What players will be the best available in those areas? Lance, are you saying it's a one quarterback league?
Yeah, I think one quarterback.
Because if it's a one quarterback league, I don't expect any quarterback to go in the first 6 picks. I don't know if that's crazy to say, but in a one quarterback league, I wouldn't expect that. So you could have your pick of any quarterback. I do expect running backs to go way earlier in a one quarterback league. So,
yeah, he said one QB league, maybe.
No, that's Casey. Market value of James Conner. Yeah, interesting. I did not expect him to get a 3-year contract. That was quite surprising to me. I think I have him somewhere around running back 25 in my Dynasty rankings.
I haven't changed my rankings yet for James Conner.
I need to double check that.
I need to double check my rankings for James Conner.
I did not
as well.
expect him to get anything more than
I thought he was
deal or something.
I didn't think he was going to get a massive deal.
Yeah, so he's my running back 25 right now. So I'm very much interested in him going forward. Casey says Jamar Chase for DJ Moore, the 101 and a 2023 first. One quarterback league. Sheesh, that's a crazy trade.
You hoping and praying Deshaun's going to Carolina, number one, because if not, then the 101 still you're either getting Brees Malik in the 2023 first, and you're hoping that maybe you get a wide receiver there after just trading away Jamar Chase potentially.
I think I'm keeping Chase.
Keep that in your inbox, and once you know Deshaun Watson's there, you accept that as
if we knew
possible.
Deshaun was there, I would accept it, but
Yeah.
As of right
That's the
now, I'm
thing.
keeping Chase.
That's the thing.
I
But
value Chase way higher than I value, other positional players.
yo, Trippy, you
What's
said
up,
you just got here
Trippy?
from a concert. What concert, brother? What'd you go see?
I would keep Chase. I know that sounds crazy, but I value Chase way above the running backs. I know people are always going to disagree with that, but I would rather have Chase than Jonathan Taylor. And that's just simply because of the longevity of wide receivers compared to running backs. But no, I think I would keep Chase unless I knew that Watson was coming there. Because again, as we all love the 23 class, doesn't mean that you're going to hit on that pick. The 101's probably Breece Hall. So I guess what we know for sure is Breece and DJ. It's hard, man. It's hard. We don't know the landing spot of Breece. DJ does worry me unless he gets, a better quarterback. So I think I'm just staying with what I know. All right, last question we're going to answer here. Tyler says Dobbins and a late 23 first or Fields and an early 23 second. We're big Fields guys here.
Yeah, I love Fields.
So I think we would go Fields, especially if it's SuperFlex. Bateman in 2024 second for Pittman. I would keep the Bateman side, even though I love Pitty.
That's the trade that Dave has been trying to give me the whole time, and I have
really?
Pittman, and I want to keep Pittman. If I'm not mistaken, I think I told him a long time ago. I was like, "Oh, if you can bring it to a more recent year, then I would do that." But
I guess
I like Pittman moving forward.
We've already seen it from Pittman. We haven't seen it from Bateman yet, but it's interesting. All right, guys, I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
I know what you're doing, brother.
Dave was trying to apply the peer pressure.
He's been trying. Yeah, 100%.
Just like I did.
What he's doing.
It's smart.
Well,
200 IQ.
there's no way De'Ami Brown becomes a massive commodity.
No, I don't think so
right?
either. But
And I think that's why I was okay doing that, where like I believe in Pittman.
Yeah. All right, guys. Huge love. We will see. We'll see you tomorrow. We have a Dynasty startup draft tomorrow.
And there's gonna be a lot more news tomorrow as well.
I don't know if you guys joined us for the community mock draft that we did, but we did a community mock draft where each pick we voted on the pick, and then we decided the real NFL mock draft that way. I would love to do that again this week. Let me guys know if you're down. Put it in the Discord or comment here. Let us know if that's something that you guys would want to be a part of again. I had fun doing it. But Dynasty startup draft tomorrow. The Dynasty leagues on Patreon are filling up. I feel really excited about this community. I feel really just grateful for everything. So thank you guys so much for being a part of it.
Yeah, all love. We really appreciate you. Man, what a day already. And there's gonna be so much that's gonna happen tomorrow. Once again, let us know what you want us to create. Suggest content ideas there. Put in our Discord. It really helps us out.
Trippy, make sure send us a message over on your fantasy hotline. We're gonna head off for today, but we'll definitely be happy to answer any questions because you got that fantasy hotline over there set up with Patreon. But guys, we'll see you tomorrow on the stream.
All love.
It will be 8 p.m. Right, Badaki? We're gonna wake up at the right time.
Yeah, now that it's daylight
it will be 8
so
p.m.
It will be 8 p.m. tomorrow, not 9.
All right.